Hello and welcome back to Magic Drama, because that's what every video is about now, because there's just so much stuff going on in this community. We find new ways to start drama. Today's drama is a little bit concerning though, because it just seems like it's continuing the Magic 30 drama that was happening in December. This time though, it's surrounding the very highly anticipated set, the Lord of the Rings Tales of the Middle-earth collab with Magic. So this is a Universes Beyond set, so it's not canon or anything like that, but it is a huge set that will be coming into casual play for sure. And it's clearly like very exciting for Commander players, very exciting for people who just are excited to play this game casually and modern and just have a great time, because it's going to be all Lord of the Rings themed, and it is very cool. Wizards of the Coast did a first reveal live stream this week, and so everyone jumped on, and of course, it was awesome. Everything from the characters we're going to be seeing to the card that we'll be talking about specifically, pretty cool stuff. And there's a couple cards that I personally was really excited about. I think, again, the One Ring, which is the card that sparked a lot of controversy. I mean, even the lands are very cool because they're just like maps of the whole Middle Earth, which I think is just super cool. So yeah, lots to look at here, and I definitely want to talk more about that in the future. However, the card that not surprisingly has started a lot of controversy is the One Ring. This is a legendary artifact that has some cool effects, but we're not here to talk about the effects. We're not here to talk about the card itself. We're here to talk about one specific version of this card. And this is a serialized 1-in-1 card. This is the only one that will ever exist, and it's going to be in collector boosters around the world. There's just going to be one of these cards out there, and it's making it immediately one of the most sought after cards ever, because this is all it is. It also looks really cool too. Like I'm kind of bummed that we won't see this as a regular card, because I genuinely love what this looks like. It's foil and it has like the language of Sauron on it. It's just very cool. I think that's dope, and I was very happy with the design of this card. But unfortunately, there's going to only be one of these that exist in the world. So this is pretty crazy. And of course, I think a lot of hate came from the Magic 30, and we've seen this from just ever since any other set has come out with like almost every single thing, every single product Wizards been putting out. We are seeing people get angry at Magic one way or another for, oh, you did this, just like Magic 30. Is it $1,000 for that pack? Is it $1,000, Wizards? Am I gonna have to pay $1,000 to play this? That's the kind of attitude that people are getting into. And if you don't know what the Magic 30th drama is, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Late last year, it was announced that there would be this essentially reprint of some of the most powerful classic cards like Black Lotus, all these classic beta level cards, and they are not tournament legal, which gets them around the reserve list stuff, which means they're technically not reprints, they're just fun collectibles. And that's all good and fine. They're just collectibles. You can maybe play them with your friends if your friends don't hate you so much for playing them. If you can get these to be played, you're great. But most of them are like banned anyway, so I don't really know what you do with them. But basically, they're just cool collectible cards, and everybody wanted them. But unfortunately, they cost $1,000 to just get like a pack of these. And that made people very, very angry. It was kind of the ultimate greed move by Wizards, and I definitely have to say I'm not a fan of this move, but they did it, and it sold out. So I don't know what to tell you. But the majority of the community just absolutely will never forgive them for this. And so that's carried into our current sets now. I mean, I think a little bit of this happened when the completed edition bundle came out. It's like $130. You can still get it right now. It's an expensive bundle that has all these special oil slick versions of these Phyrexian cards, and everybody lost their minds about that and felt like that was kind of a play for more money. And the reality and the truth is, all of these things are, no surprise, for money. And that is why this ring specifically is getting a lot of hate, because again, it feels like another power move, another greed move from Wizards of the Coast. I can't say that I share the same hate, and quite frankly, I don't think most of the community does share the same hate, or at least the creators making content for Magic don't feel the same. This is mainly due to the fact that this doesn't really impact like the gameplay at all. This doesn't really leave everyone out of it. It's like one person's gonna get it and everyone else isn't, and I think that's less painful than what we looked at in the past. Also, it's possible for you to get it. I mean, you could buy one $30 or $40 pack if they stay that cheap anyway. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna go up, but if you buy one of these packs, you have a chance of getting this, which is crazy. But I really don't think that this changes anything, especially since you can get this card in other versions that look very cool too forever. Like, there are going to be tons of them printed. So I don't really understand necessarily the anger, but I understand potentially where it's coming from. And this is true for more than just one card. I mean, we even saw a little bit of controversy about you cannot pass a card, an instant, a 1 white mana instant that is basically the famous scene that Gandalf is like, "You shall not pass." I don't even need to tell you. You know what I mean. It's classic. The problem is in the book, which Magic made it very clear that in the book they would stick to whatever the book was doing. And in the book it says you cannot pass. Hey, maybe they should have just said you shall not pass. I don't know. But it made people angry. But we can move on. On top of this, there is also going to be soul rings that are serialized. I thought this was actually kind of cool. They're doing like serialized, like I think it was depending on how many rings the men got or elves got or dwarves got is how many of those versions are going to be serialized. So like, but by a lot more. So like in some cases, I think one of them's like 700 or something because there's like 7 rings or whatever for man or whatever. I'm sorry if I'm screwing up the lore. I don't have the memory to remember what each person got. Those also are going to be serialized, but there's also like non-serialized versions that have like 9,000 or something, and there's like another one. There's not going to be a ton of these soul rings, but they are going to be possible to find. Like I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you watching this will get lucky enough if you buy a collector booster to find one of these non-serialized ones. It's cool. Like and again, this is stuff that I'm glad that they got it out of the way, because I think it's good to now focus on good things that get people excited, like just the set in general, and less about the exclusive stuff like the serialized stuff. And there might be more serialized stuff coming. I don't really know. This is kind of I think this is a great move for Magic, and I really think that these shouldn't make people angry. But again, we all have our opinions, and the community, again, it's going to speak, it's going to say what it feels. And I'm okay with people, of course, sharing their opinions on what they feel about a set, and especially when it comes to exclusive serialized stuff. I will say one thing that is bad about it is it has made the collector booster very expensive. Unfortunately, I think as much as we can maybe say that Magic took a little bit of an L on this, I think the community is also taking a little bit of an L. Or in my opinion, a massive L. And the thing about the Magic community is, I love you guys. I think you're great. I love all the creators in this space. But there are some serious issues that we need to address. And so this one's a little bit more serious. So I'm going to do my best to cover it as quickly as possible and as concisely as possible. And it's not hard to do that, because there is one card that sparked a lot of controversy, and this has been a conversation months prior, is that Aragorn is black. I know, it's crazy. I can't believe they made a person black, I guess. This is kind of a ridiculous one, and I know a lot of us are probably like, are you kidding me? Like, really? This is controversy? Like, black people existing is a controversy apparently still. But I think we all have to kind of take a step back and assess, why is this a controversy? Well, there's a couple reasons, and they're not great reasons, but there's reasons. Firstly, the Magic community and the Lord of the Rings community are notoriously nerdy communities, which, if we kind of take a look at what the nerd culture looked like 30, 40 years ago, or even further back, it's very obvious that it's different than it is now, and I would say was mostly white. And because it was mostly white and also mostly male, it's making it pretty hard for some people to make that shift to being more inclusive and welcoming to now a very diverse community. I mean, D&D used to be like the most nerdy thing you could do, but now like your local gym bro is doing it. You know, everyone's playing D&D, and it's just because Stranger Things made it popular or something, right? Like it's just things are becoming more normalized, and therefore more people are going to join in the fun, and it's genuinely awesome. But because of this, we're seeing a lot of people clash with their old school views on things and their desire to not want to see things change, and their anti-woke feelings on things just cropping up and making this very political. And I've tried to ask these people, the ones who are very much against a black Aragorn, why? Because in the end of the day, I think it's really cut and dry. You just don't want to see him be black, and I think that's the issue. But I think, to be fair, let's look at some of the things. Like, okay, did Tolkien make it really clear that it needs to be all white people? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to go read every single book and try to figure out did he explain every single person. But if we take even the assumption that he did make it very clear that everybody is white, why does it matter that we change it? The main reason why it doesn't matter that if we change it is simply this. Lord of the Rings has always been about different races, but not in the sense of black and white or whatever, in the way we look at it, but from dwarves, humans, elves, whatever, goblins, orcs, the list is long. Those races might maybe have issues with each other, and actually it's very clear that they do have rivalries or hate towards each other, or don't really like each other. And we could even go as far as they are racist in some of these stories. Like the dwarves and the elves don't like each other very much. That's a history that we know. We know that men are very selfish, so a lot of people look down at them. These are the issues that the Middle Earth is facing right now. These are the societal issues that they're struggling with. And I think we can look at that and say, I don't think that Aragorn's struggles in this world change depending on if he's black or white in this world. Okay, we're talking about a fantasy world. Now, if we're talking about our world, it's going to definitely change things, because you have different experiences. And again, I'm not saying that like we shouldn't maybe think about, oh, can we, change some elements of the story to like help, argue these things, or maybe make it open it up for people. Like maybe in the future we do more of that. But the same thing happened in Rings of Power, where like Rings of Power is kind of like a new Lord of the Rings experience. And people got very angry that there was a black elf, even though that doesn't do anything against the story. Like if you look at him, he is doing nothing that there's nothing different about him. He's just a man that's an elf that's doing stuff. And if he was white, he would be doing those same exact things. There's no difference. And so there doesn't change the story or hurt the story. It doesn't change the overall arcing story, because it wouldn't ever change the story, because he's still a person. He's still an elf. And so the same is true with Aragorn. Aragorn's still going to be awesome, and he's going to still do his thing. And this isn't changed it for the whole, this isn't changed the whole story. The story is still reads the same way, whether or not you think of him as a black character or a white character. He would do the same thing. Now, again, I don't know if the books specifically talk about his looks. I'm sure they do, but I don't care. I think it just doesn't really matter that much, right? Like for Magic to take their liberties and change it and make it a little bit more inclusive. And I don't think this is like that big of a deal. I think we're making it into a big deal. I think people who are having an issue with this don't understand that it's a community that has more than just white people. And we need to be able to, a company is going to absolutely have an agenda to want to make sure that everybody feels like they can play this game and be included. Why wouldn't they? They want to make money. If you were running a company and you wanted more and more customers, you would do whatever you had to do to make it feel more welcoming for them. And especially when it's a game that is mostly about interacting with other people and collaborating with other people and getting to know people in a social setup. Why would you not build a game that is very inclusive and has black and white and every different race on Earth? Because you want to have that representation for everybody, even in a fantasy world. Now, this is just my opinion on it. Like, again, like some people might have a different view, maybe have the same view as me and have it in a different way. Maybe some people might say, no, I think Black or Aragorn wasn't enough. There should have been more, and I think they should have changed the story maybe a little bit. I don't know. magic doesn't have that much power to change a Tolkien story, so I don't see that being possible, but maybe they should have gone further. I don't know. But as far as where I stand, I think being racist is kind of stupid and dumb and childish. And if you're doing that, please go back to the man cave that you came from, because I think it's just we're over it. All right, we want to move on. I want us to go play some Magic, and I'm gonna do it with a female. I'm gonna do it with a black person. I'm gonna do it with anyone who wants to come play Magic, because that's fun, and because we're people and we should do that, and we should be able to do that. So that's my spiel. That's my little rant. Man. It's very tiring to read this kind of stuff, and genuinely it's been really hard reading some of the comments, and I have had to go and read the comments to make sure that this was truly a story worth talking about. And almost every news article that brings up the Lord of the Rings set that I've been reading anyway, a lot of them just randomly mention, oh yeah, and Aragorn's black now. And I just feel like, ooh, okay. I mean, it is newsworthy, but it's just weird that a lot of people seem to be fired up about it. And so here I am talking about it because we need to. We need to make sure that Magic is fun for everybody. And as far as I can, as far as my channel, I'm always going to stand on that. And so if you don't like it, you don't have to watch my channel. But if you just want to live your life only having people agree with you, that's kind of super lame and clearly shows that your agenda is very apparent too. And you have a clear agenda to only ever be told that you're right, rather than actually having someone tell you, hey, I disagree with you. What are you going to do about it? Well, you can go ahead and go in the comments right now and disagree with me, and I'm happy to hear you, because I'm not going to run away from criticism either. So that's all for the Magic news for now. I will update you guys further on if anything changes. I'm definitely going to be watching this Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm very excited about it, and it's going to be a fun time as long as we don't ruin it and freak out over nothing. With that said, you can go ahead and subscribe if you watched all the way through. I'd really, really appreciate it. You're here, you watched the whole video, why not subscribe and stick around? I'll see you guys very, very soon. And again, thank you so much for the patience. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I have a podcast out. I'm pumping out videos, and there'll be more Magic news very soon. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys soon.